Hi, I'm Lauren. Today I'm going to show you a quick workout that you can do using just a foam roller that's hitting just a little bit of everything. So we're going to do a little core, a little upper back, some glutes and hamstrings, just a nice way to bring a little bit of movement into your body. So all you need is your foam roller. Um, you could potentially do this with a half-length foam roller. Um, I can't think of any reason why it wouldn't work with a shorter foam roller for this. And we're going to start laying down on our backs with the foam roller underneath our ribs. So here I've got the foam roller near the bottom of my rib cage. My hands come behind my head. I'm going to lift my hips up and I'm just going to start rolling back and forth, going pretty slow. I'm just starting to work out some of the cracks and kinks that I might be feeling in my back. If I feel in a really tender spot, I might stop there and take a couple deep breaths into it before going back and forth again. And then I'm going to let my hips come down and I'm going to roll over onto my side. So we're going to do a little upper back rotation, which is going to help warm up your thoracic spine. I've got the roller kind of right where my bra strap is. If you're not wearing a bra, then think middle of your ribs, where I feel like it's supporting me, but I can also have my top elbow on the ground. If it's all the way up in your armpit, it's probably going to be a little uncomfortable. So think a little bit more towards the bottom of your rib cage. I've got that bottom arm supporting my head. My knees and my hip bones are stacked, and I'm going to try to keep them still while I take my top hand to my head, and I'm going to turn my top elbow in, rotating in, and then lift it up and rotate back. And this is where you want to focus on keeping your hips and knees still. So as we twist through this rotation, we're moving from the waist up and not allowing our hips and legs to shift as well. Now I can let my gaze follow my top elbow rather than trying to keep my head pointed forward. This is going to limit my rotation, whereas looking at my elbow is going to allow me to go all the way into it. I'm just going to do one more like this. And then I'm going to lift my hips back up and I'm going to roll back and forth again, but this time I'm staying on the side of my back and on the side of my ribs, going all the way up into the armpit, all the way down, and maybe coming up and over my shoulder blade on my back. And again, if I find a spot that's super tender, down here is tender for me, I can hang out there. Take a couple deep breaths. Before I roll over to do the other side. So here again, I'm going to get set with the roller closer to the bottom of my ribs, bottom hand supporting my head, top hand on my head as well, knees and hips stacked up. I'm going to bring that top elbow down. Now my breathing pattern as I do that, every time my elbow is pointing at the ceiling, I'm inhaling. And every time it's opening all the way or closing all the way, I'm exhaling. So inhale up, exhale to close, inhale up, exhale to open. We'll do just a couple more. Last one. And then again, I'm going to lift up so I can roll along the side of my back and the side of my ribs. Taking some time. If you need to pause the video and stop and breathe, that's fine. And then I'm going to come back to that original posture we were in, laying on my back with the roller nearer to the base of my ribs. My hands come to the back of my head, and here I'm going to think about tucking my elbows in. So instead of keeping them open and back like this, I'm reaching them in, and I'm thinking about pushing them up. I'm going to take a deep breath. As I exhale, I'm going to let my body arc up and over, thinking about reaching out through my elbows the whole way. And then I'm going to use my abs to lift myself back up. Now, what I want you to pay attention to while you're doing this is what's happening here at the base of your ribs. If you're letting your ribs pop up, you're going to feel the roller moving underneath you. We want to feel the roller stay still. So I'm thinking about trying to keep tension from the base of my ribs pulling down towards my hip bones while I allow my upper body to move up and over the roller. So that's the right way. I'm going to show you the wrong way one more time, rather than just letting my ribs pop up. So even while I'm letting my back extend, I'm still thinking about keeping some tension here through my abdominals as I'm rolling up and over the roller. When my head comes back up, I'm thinking about lifting myself from my belly. So this should be some ab work. So now we're going to make it a little harder. I'm going to lift up one leg, and as I arc my body up and over, my leg reaches away, and then I pull my knee back in. And you can really think about pulling your knee and your forehead together. They don't have to touch, but you can think about that active curl. Let's do 2 more like this. Last one. And now I'm going to add in some rotation. So instead of arcing over the roller, now I'm going to twist, and I'm going to twist away from my moving leg. So this leg reaches away, and I'm thinking about reaching my armpit past my bent knee and back. And again. We're doing 4. This is 3. We've got 1 more. And then I'm going to switch legs. So picking up that other leg, we're going to go back to arcing over the roller, keeping those low ribs connected. 2 more times. Last one. And now we're switching to our rotation, reaching past the still knee for 4. Stay active through that reaching leg, active knee, active toe. All right, so from here, I'm going to take the roller and slide it underneath my knees, lay back down on my back, and we're going to do a little bit with our hips supported on the roller. So taking it so that it's at supporting my pelvis, I'm going to lift my knees up. And you should feel like the roller is supporting you and being in a little bit of a tuck. So you should feel pretty comfortable tucking your knees in and not feeling like your butt is trying to drop off the other end. My arms can press into the roller or reach out like a T, whatever's comfortable. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit, you can reach your arms up to the ceiling. And then we're going to take our knees over our hips, shins parallel to the ground and tabletop. We're going to start with a toe tap here. I'm exhaling as I tap my toe. Now, what makes this a little more challenging and nice is that I really have to extend my hip to touch the ground. So I'm feeling some stretch and length through my quads and hip flexors, as well as feeling my glutes and hamstrings, the back of my leg, turn on. They have to actively work to pull my leg down. My abs are thinking about just staying connected. Now I'm going to take both legs together, and I'm going to tap them both at the same time. Harder here, a lot more abs. So as my legs are reaching away, I'm thinking about pulling my pubic bone towards the base of my ribs. There's just a little bit of movement through my pelvis, but it's really small and controlled, so that's okay. And I'm really feeling those glutes and hamstrings working. I'm going to do one more like this. And then I'm going to keep my toes together. I'm going to open my knees apart. And we're going to do the same sequence here, now in more of an attitude position with the legs. So one leg reaches down and the other leg. When I'm moving my legs in this pattern, I'm feeling a lot more of my side butt as my toes reach towards the ground. I'm still thinking about my ribs staying in. I'm still thinking about that tension through my low belly. That front of your body being connected is what's helping to protect your spine through this movement. All right, and then both toes together, both legs reach. Tension drawing up, resisting the reach of your legs, a lot of booty, a lot of side butt. Be aware of not letting your belly bulge out as you're reaching through your legs. If you're feeling your belly pop up, then don't go so far. Only move in a range of motion where you can keep it pretty flat. We're going to do two more. And then you can put your feet down. We're going to roll the roller out from under the butt to here. And then we're going to do some bridging. So we're going to start doing just a couple bridges here with our feet on the ground to warm up. We're going to start with an articulated bridge, rounding through the spine. So I'm trying to curl my pelvis. My knees are reaching towards my toes. I'm keeping my ribs in. Deep breath at the top. Exhale your way down. We're going to do one more like that. Taking some work into the back of the legs because we're about to make this a whole lot harder. So really think about pressing your knees forward, using your butt. All right, so now we're going to put our feet on the roller. Find a place where your arches are on the roller. And now we really want to push into those arms. Don't worry so much about articulating. I want you to think about keeping your back flatter and really trying to press your knees away. And whoa, I feel so much more work in my hamstrings and glutes now. And down. We're going to do it again. So I'm really thinking about my knees pushing that way to initiate my movement. I'm staying connected through my ribs. You're really going to want to pop them out here, and it is not going to be helpful. We're going to do two more, and on the last one, we're going to stay up, or I'm going to make it even harder. So here, all the way up, and then I'm going to do a little roll out and back, out and back. This is 4, we're going to do 6. I'm trying to keep my butt pushing up the whole time. Last one, and down. Whoo, and you can kick your legs out a little bit. Oh, my hamstrings are feeling it. All right, so now we're going to come up and sit, and we're going to do a little mermaid pattern. So here, I'm going to sit with my mermaid legs. If you don't do Pilates, that's what we call these legs, mermaid legs. So I have one leg in front of me, and my other leg is kind of to the side, and the foot of my front leg is resting on the thigh of my side leg. Ideally, you want both of your sits bones on the floor here. So if you don't feel comfortable sitting up straight in this position, grab a pillow or something to sit on so that you can really feel connected to the ground on both sides, as opposed to being kind of hiked up like this. You'll feel more comfortable if you have something elevating you. My roller is on the side of my front leg, and I've got my hand resting on it. My other hand is going to be resting on my outside leg with my palm up. Now I'm going to gently press my hand down into the roller, just enough so I can kind of feel some stuff turn on, and I'm going to start pushing it away. I'm going to reach my other arm up and over, and I'm focusing on keeping this hip down, so I'm not letting myself go like that. So big reach through that top arm, and then press into the bottom arm to come back up. You can adjust the position of the roller. You can also kind of push it out with your hand as you go, but I do end up with it rolling a little bit more onto my forearm. All right, so on the next one, I'm going all the way out, and I'm going to stay there. I'm going to take this top arm, and I'm going to turn so I can bring it to the roller. I'm going to slide my other arm out, and then I'm going to push the roller all the way. Now I have let this hip come off from the ground at this point, but I'm still thinking about reaching it back. So I'm still trying to ground through that side. I pushed the roller as far away as I could, and then I'm going to push my hands down and do a little chest lift going into some back extension, and then roll it forward again. And again. Think about those shoulders sliding down your back, chest is reaching forward. So the next time we're up, we're going to stay up here. And you have some options for this next thing. The more leaned out you are, the easier it's going to be. The more upright you are, the harder it's going to be. So maybe start with the roller a little farther away, and you're going to try to hover your back leg. Now, if you did that and you're like, cake, go up higher. Try it again. If you can barely lift your leg off the ground, that's about the level that I want you working at. You should really be feeling the work right here in your side butt. And I'm trying to keep my shin parallel to the floor. So I'm not trying to lift my knee up. I'm trying to lift my whole leg up. And then we're going to make this just a little bit harder. You're going to hover your leg and then try to straighten your knee and bend it, all the while hovering off the ground. One more time, and then put the leg down, roll the roller forward again, come back to that side position, come all the way up, and we're going to take it to the other side. So switching your legs. Find that nice mermaid shape. And we're going to start with that side bend, rolling out, gentle pressure down into that arm, other arm reaching up and over. As I come back up, I'm pushing down, trying to feel support through my armpit rather than feeling work up into my neck and shoulder. Reaching through those top fingers, and I'm also thinking about reaching this hip down. So trying to reach my hip and my fingers in opposite directions so I can get the most amount of opening through my side and ribs. On the next one, I'm going to rotate that top arm to the roller, slide my first arm over, and then push the roller all the way out. I'm still thinking about reaching this hip away while my fingers are reaching in the opposite direction. And then I press down, little chest lift, and roll it back out. On the next one, we're going to stay up. And we're going to lift that back leg. So remember, finding a position where it's challenging but possible, and you can keep your shin parallel to the floor. And then I'm going to hold it up and straighten my knee and bend. One more time. And down, roll it out, turn to the side, sit yourself back up, and then let's turn and face the roller. We're going to go into a little child's pose, and you can roll it all the way away. Turn your thumbs up to the ceiling. Think about letting your butt sink towards your heels, and you're just going to take a couple deep breaths here. Every time you exhale, can your butt get closer to your heels? One more deep breath. And with that, let's sit all the way up, and we'll be done for today. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel for more content like this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.